Well, hello everyone. Long time no see. Welcome back to the B2B Power Hour. So, I have a question to go and start this off. After this long bit time not seeing everyone, what do you think? Are blank connection requests worth it? Do they actually work? What do you guys think? I'm curious how our audience weighs in today because I honestly didn't think they worked at first. And for those that don't know me, my name is Nicholas Thickett. I'm an advisor with Aligned and also a host of B2B Power Hour, where we have a really simple mission. We want to help sellers succeed without killing themselves in the process because working smarter, not harder, is the way to go. So, what do you guys think? Blank connection requests, do they work? Get in the comments. Yes, no. Let's hear what you got. And just before I start, today I'm actually going to be working and showing you guys how I actually do this because I think it's important to be very transparent of how it actually works. Because it took me many years to figure out how to use Sales Nav, and understanding the different process took even longer. So I'm just going to go and double check, make sure my chat's working, and then I will get started. Interesting, interesting. Let's see. Showing that it's working. Hopefully it's working. Because I don't see anyone in the chat this round. Okay, well, if it just goes to YouTube, it just goes to YouTube. Hopefully Restream's not being a pain in my butt. So unless I hear something else, I'm going to get started on blank connect requests. And if you guys saw my post today, where this whole process came down to, and like I said before, I didn't think it worked because it didn't used to. But what this is like is going to a gym or somewhere new. When you first start going to this new place, it's different, right? You don't just walk up to someone and then ask them to pour their heart out to you. Like at the gym first, you'll go in, you'll go walk around trying to get to know the place. Once you have a good understanding of the place and you start to see people come and go, you start to say hi, be friendly. But it can take weeks, if not months, before you start having real conversations with the regulars because now you're one of them. You're kind of part of the inside group. Now, this happens on LinkedIn all the time. What happened during COVID is so many people tried to sell so much on it and tried to promote so much on it that genuine connection is just so lacking. And so the blank connection request is just a brilliant way to go and get coverage into an account. So I am going to get started. Let's see if that'll let me share my screen. Okay. So how this works is first off, you want to go and set up your lead list. So if you haven't already, you might want to take a screenshot of this and go and do it. I use Sales Navigator's lead and account lists as lead stages. And what this allows me to do is to stay on track of what's actually in here, or else I don't know who I talk to, or it's really hard to find because it's not quite made for that. And I use my account list the same way. But what you're going to learn today is I figured out a trick to make this even simpler. So each week, you could just go and jump in here and away you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a saved search. So you're probably wondering, well, I already built lead lists. I have my account list, but why would I build a saved search on top of this? What's the point? Well, a saved search is dynamic. It's constantly changing. And so what we're trying to do is go and set ourselves up so that we're going to target the right people at the right seniority in the right accounts. And ultimately, of course, at the right time. So let's do that right now. So what you're going to do is go grab an account list. And because this is a saved search for blank, we're going to throw that in there. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to see people I've already talked to or have in lists. So I'm going to exclude saved leads. You could also do people you've interacted with, I'm not too worried about that. It doesn't come up enough for it to be a big deal. So we're not going to go there. Now, if you notice, Sales Navigator just did a big update. So this is all brand new as of, I believe, Friday, or some of you may have got it today. So now they have toggles. What I try to do in my saved searches is to keep it as simple as possible. So, function. What are the 3 functions that touch your product that they have an impact on? In other videos, if you go back and scroll back on our YouTube, we did the account-based sales development movement and how to run on social. What you're trying to do is figure out where that impact hits the most. Whose job, their day-to-day gets impacted the most by your product if they were to buy it. And that's where we start. And then if you think of it like an assembly line, what comes before it and what comes after? So I always like going for sales. The other one I can go for is business development. And for whatever reason, they're not sticking. Isn't that interesting? So let's go back to accounts quick. Let's throw one into my list. See if it'll let us do this. Who should we pick? Let's do deal. Great company. Click on my list. We'll keep them in the master list. That's fine. But let's now move them to blank. And let's see if that's why LinkedIn is being weird. It was interesting. Last week I was teaching a workshop, and this is the first time that Sales Nav hadn't worked for me. So this might be part of this new update. I'm not 100% sure. Seniority level. Oh, interesting. It's not even showing. Let's update this. There we go. So before I do anything else, we're at 3,500. Just a few people. Now let's go function, 563 in sales. Let's do business development. Program and project management is also a really good one. And actually, I get more from that typically than I do marketing, but the other one I do is marketing. So it's too bad I can't chat with you guys, or I'd ask you what you think. But let's see what program and project management actually includes. Merging. Yeah, we can do that because it has to do with business development. Now, I had the most interesting research recently, and it ties really well to what I've been seeing in the market. And a lot of people aren't getting traction right now because BANT or whatever metrics they have in front of them do not allow them to prioritize or actually talk to anyone below VP level. The problem is those VPs are not making all the decisions. And what's actually happening is most of the individuals that are bringing these up are actually senior manager and directors. They're the places that we want to have a little bit of coverage before we start because they're the ones that are going to tell us what's going on. Okay. So, with that said, right now we're at 490. That's a lot. So, best path in, and I highly recommend this one, is second degree. 192, more manageable. So, that's where I start, and then we'll add some other ones after. But this is also a really good one. Posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And this is our search. We hit save, save search. And we call it one blank connect. That's all we need to call it. We know what it is. I hear that my feed's being weird on LinkedIn again. So I'll just go and double check. Well, okay, well, we're going to keep going. I'm not sure why LinkedIn likes to be a pain in the butt sometimes, but it does. So, with Blank Connect, what we're trying to signal is that we're doing our research. We're taking our time. We're trying to go and build the right relationships with the right people. And we don't want to just connect with anyone. This Part of this is just building good relationships. Thinking of it like back when we did in-person networking, it's super critical to not be, how do you say it? You don't want people feeling like you're doing a bait and switch. That's not the point of this. The point is to go and get access into the account, get to meet some great people that you actually want to talk to. Because if you find good people that you appreciate and they appreciate you, is what opens doors to accounts. So, account executive and sales lead, Carl Ritchie. Let's take a look. XG2, very interesting. Account executive, sales lead. This is someone I would like to talk to because Carl came from an intelligence place with intent and review scores, now has to go and sell deal. So this would be someone that I would enjoy talking to. Founder of Cocktail Party. Oh, interesting. Yeah, dynamic individual. See, this is someone I would like to connect with. So what you do is you go hit connect, save as lead, send invitation. That's it. And then what you do is you hit these three dots and go edit list, blank connect, save. That's it. Now you watch. I'll hit refresh just so you can see it. But he's not there anymore. Because how this list is designed is all my saved leads will disappear. And the really neat thing is too is as I change the accounts in that blank connect account list, these will also change the company that's in here as well. This is why I really like this because it makes it really simple. So now that's one. So we're allowed 20 per week. So because I cleaned out all of my sales now for you guys to go through this process, I'm going to keep going. Director of partnerships. Braze, Quantum Metric, great companies. Connection of Riley. You know, if somebody's connected to Riley, you're a good person. EMEA and APAC, something that we deal with all the time. This is someone I would love to talk to. Save as lead. Edit list. Blank connect. Save. Okay. I love talking to AEs, especially new AEs. The other thing too is if you look for people that have been in seat for a long time, you'll get really good information that you couldn't do anywhere else. Oh, manager, enterprise sales development. I love talking to enterprise people that are dealing in pipeline gen, not necessarily buyer enablement, but pipeline gen, because a lot of the experiments and stuff that I'm running right now, we can nerd out and have great conversations. Recently hired, so this could be someone that would be really good. So you know what? That's what we're gonna do. Philip, connect, send invitation, edit list, blank connect. And you'll see, I don't know why LinkedIn does this, but it won't auto refresh. So until I hit refresh, it won't update that list number. So you'll see when I send the next one. Ooh, Morgan follows your company. Always a good thing. I appreciate that. Geez, April 2023, 352% quota. You are crushing it, Morgan. I would love to connect with you. And the big reason why I like to go and talk to sellers that are doing really well, and think about this for the people that you're talking to, is I love to figure out what they're doing differently. Why are they crushing it? How are they thinking about the market and what they do that gives them these better outcomes? You'll find that a lot of this as we're going through more and more, that a lot of this is actually looking at your market research and learning as you go. District of Columbia. So one thing we could do just for this list, just while I'm doing my connection requests, I can actually throw in geography and say I just want to start with North America, or I can even let's see if anybody's in Canada. Oh my goodness, that's a small list. Dan, Toronto guy. I'm in. It's always fun finding these kind of niches. And then you'll hear about it more next week when I get into the Passion Connect. But you have this shared knowledge that makes things fun and interesting. So it's always good to find people that you have something in common right away. In networking, I used to call it the race to commonality, but it just makes it so easy to talk to them. Legal pad. This is someone from the West Coast in Canada that, oh, interesting, that went through an acquisition. See, this is someone I would also enjoy talking to. The one thing I always think about, and this is a hard thing to just guess at, but it's the people that you feel like can have the best conversations. And one thing you can do is hover over their post and see what they do. Go into Dragon Den. See, that would be interesting, and I'd be more than happy to learn about that. So, Jonah, I will connect with you. The one thing that nobody tells you about this whole approach, and I'm not going to be doing it right now, it'll be later in the week, but I'm actually benchmarking my profile. This is really important. As people are connecting, if people don't connect, I want to know why. I want to really reverse engineer it to understand why I didn't resonate with them. What did they feel wasn't relevant about me? And so then the benchmark I use is 30%. Under 30%, the people that we're targeting, you don't resonate. And that's a big deal. So what you actually want to go and do is then focus on your profile. 30 to 50% is average. That's what most people are getting when they have their profile written in a way that resonates with their audience. And I'll be talking about that more this week. Talked a little bit about last week as well. But you want to go and resonate with your audience, or it's dead on arrival. But this is also it acts as a benchmark because you want to test it with people in field. We can have all the assumptions we want if it's working or not, but we never know until we actually try. So the reason why I keep these in lists as well is over time I can see just how many people I've connected with and what my rates are. This is why I said it's important to go and do this. Okay. Well, my Canadian friends are already done. So let's go move to the United States first. Director of Product Partnerships, Tech Partnerships, Senior AE. Good people. What do you post about? 1 week, 2 weeks. This person's not as active, but they're putting in effort every week. It's a good thing to look at to see if they actually check. RevOps leader, recently hired, lots of connections. That many of my friends are friends with you. That might make you a friend of mine too. And you also have an incredibly interesting role that I would love to geek out on. So, and it sounds so simple just to say, like, this is someone I want to connect with and why. But that's really all it is. You really want to understand, like, why this one person. Because if you can mentally justify it to yourself, you have an opportunity to have a good conversation. It's just that simple. You'll notice I'll just keep refreshing my page just so I can see how many I have in that list so I don't go over my 20 allotment. And then also making sure that I'm not double dipping on my accounts, even though it'll show me who I've talked to. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't update automatically, but hiring without borders. Reformed actor turned top of funnel sales, Swiss Army knife. You have to put that as your headline, Alice. That is a badass about section. You guys see that? Awesome. Also worked at Title, Honeywell. Okay, Alice, you're cool people. I would love to have a conversation with you and pick your brain on some of the things that you did at those other companies because that would have been cool. This is all you're trying to do. And the reason why I put them in a saved search is that I don't have to go and pre-filter this all at the start. I can just go and find these interesting people in 30-minute time slots during the day, or else it's overwhelming. SMB, SDR, communications and culture manager. That'd be interesting. Connected with Dan Tyre, a good person. Time at HubSpot, that would make sense. No about section. You probably don't post that often. Yeah, so that Colby probably isn't on LinkedIn on a daily basis. So there's probably someone that wouldn't talk to me or wouldn't have a conversation right away. Adam, on the other hand, SDR, love working with SDRs. They have the hardest job and can have the biggest impact because a deal well opened is pretty much closed. And if you don't agree, get in the comments. Let me know. Happy to prove you wrong. Eric. You haven't posted, you don't have much on here. And Eric, if you're watching this, I'll still connect with you. I'll give it a try. But this type of account, one of the reasons why sometimes I wouldn't is because it was 3 or 4 weeks ago and your profile's set up just to sell, which I've found through my research, people that have a more sales centric profile, if they don't come to me, then they don't usually want to have a conversation either. Nothing wrong with individuals, it just doesn't usually turn into anything. This one, Victoria has way more mutual connections. Played hockey, Sweden. Oh, cool. Yeah. Victoria has more of her profile filled out, which means she's put more effort in. Good person to go and connect with. Have a higher chance of having a conversation, an interesting conversation. Why not? Joel Brown. 3 times last 30 days. No about section. Who are we connected with? Oh, yeah. You're in learning mode and you're investing in yourself, Joel. I would connect with you for sure. And you'll find the stuff that I'm saying, it takes time to develop. But what I notice is by having a sales journal and putting them into these lists, it allowed me to learn because I had to figure out why people didn't connect and what went on that didn't make sense for them. It takes time, but it makes such a huge difference to keep asking those questions over and over again because then you can actually go and change how you show up. Making visas and green cards super fast and easy. That's a good tagline. Senior AE. Yeah, you sound like an interesting person. Okay. I'll have to make sure Morgan joins me for the next one so that I have, just in case it doesn't work. Oh, I am so sorry, everyone. Well, I am very sorry if that didn't show up. I don't know why it did that, but I'll keep going and I'll keep explaining everything. And Cavill, thank you very much for messaging that. I'm really sorry. Unfortunately, the way that this tab works is I'm on a separate screen. So I'm really sorry. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to refresh again. Hopefully that won't kick out my screen share. Ty has a lot of mutual connections. And they recently posted. I like these posts because they're about categories. So far, they're not about products. So let's see what Ty's about. GTM advisor, also someone I enjoy talking to. Always prioritize people with about sections. It's real, and anybody that's written one, they're one of the hardest things to do. So if you have one, it's always good. Ty also has their own link. So Ty's invested into his digital presence, so that's a good person to connect with. Edit list. So we're at 15. Let's see, Thomas, about 43 mutual connections. I like to build and break things. I understand that. Ty hasn't posted. He might connect, but I don't usually connect with people that don't post because it just doesn't tend to work out as well. I'm gonna go back. Make sure my screen share is working. Good. If anybody has any questions, I'll keep checking back every few minutes. Let me know if there's anything. If you see on the left-hand side, you can see all my filters by the function, seniority level. Second degree connections really great. One thing you'll notice is each day as you keep running this play, that list will actually get bigger as more people connect because you'll get connected to more people. So you won't be as far away. And then you can start adding more filters in just to go and narrow it to get started. Global head of expansion. Another person I love to geek out with. And you come from a venture background. Interesting. Tel Aviv, Tech Savvy BC, yeah, and Twitter. Any of these hints that people are investing into their digital presence are people you want to connect with. Edit list, blank connect, save. So the one thing too that's really interesting about doing this, and I'll show you guys at the next step here, is as I keep going through this process, now when people go into our lead lists, it actually gives us access to their updates, which I'll show you next. So what I'm doing is I'm actually hand picking the people that I want to see what they're up to. Like I said, it just significantly increases the opportunity that we're going to have good conversations. Leo, 134 mutual connections. Sydney, Australia. Help founder scale revenue teams. Solid. Oh yeah, and you have had a great career of that too. You'd be someone I'd love to have on the podcast and nerd out with. Oh, so Leo obviously has a lot of people that have been connecting with him. So unfortunately, I can't because I don't have his email. So that's someone that I could throw into a list, but I can't use the blank connect. If I threw them Leo into one of my lists, I would get the updates so that I could go and connect later after using a comment strategy. Australia, 38 shared connections, 2 recent posts. What did you post? Working from Bali, cool. Yeah. So let's see. Gold Coast, that's where my aunt lives. Neat. Send invitation. Edit list. Let's refresh. I'm also going to check to see if anybody left me any comments. Cavill, thank you for a great question. So I'll put this up. Did you put the leads into a blank connect list after you sent a connection request or save them to that list as a target to send the request? So fantastic question. Thank you for the clarification. So what I'm in right now is called a saved search. So if you see on the search bar on the right-hand side, it says saved search. The reason why I put this in a saved search is it's dynamic and it'll keep changing. I haven't mapped my account yet. I haven't done any of the strategic work. This is a warm-up procedure just to go and gain coverage into the account, get some connections, and start good conversations. It's a networking activity. This can be a little bit harder than just doing comments first, but saved searches are a lot easier because they'll keep updating. That's why I use them and not lead lists. Once I've sent the connection request, then I move them to the blank lead list so that I can go and get their updates and I can stay on top of it. Thank you very much. Great question. Okay. 22 mutual connections, 67 SDR deal. Head of international sales. Yeah, 6771. I always lean to people that have more shared connections because there's a likelihood that we're going to have a better conversation. It's not perfect, but it's something that I lean on and it hasn't led me astray. So that's one thing I go for. Edit list, blank connect, save, mid market, head of international sales, Singapore. So I will tell you one thing as you're doing this enough is you start to notice there's themes of people that you just love talking to because of shared pain or shared interests. Host of a podcast, having done a podcast for almost 2 years, I love talking to podcast hosts. We have shared pain. We also can nerd out about the things we've learned and the guests that we've liked, not some of the stuff that we've been through. Having those types of shared connections are unbelievable. It's something we'll talk about in more detail next week with the Passion Connect, but definitely something to keep in mind. Someone from India. What are your posts? So these types of posts just off the headlines are telling me that Rajiv is investing in himself. I love people that are students of their craft because I never want to stop learning. So it's someone that I will go and connect with to have that opportunity to chat. Okay, I'm gonna see if anybody else commented. No. I will take the video recording and make sure that I share it. So if there's anything that you guys didn't see that we get to. Uh, Global strategic partnerships from Australia. Advisory network, tech council, let's deal. Bevan sounds like someone would be super interesting to talk to. We could nerd out on different channel metrics and how to go and set up a GTM and the rest, because partnerships are not easy to go and figure out which are the right ones that give you trust and credibility through that relationship or not. So there's something else we can nerd out on. And you'll see this is my theme. Who do I think would be a great conversation is what I always base it on. Okay, so let's go to see what my lead list is at. Blank connect, 21. So I actually went over, so we're good. Here you go. And you'll see the date added and when that last outreach happened. One thing you'll want to start doing, especially if your CRM is integrated, makes things so much easier, is you add notes in as you're doing this. When you add the notes in, then it all updates into your CRM. Same with your direct messages that you do through Sales Navigator, it'll automatically move over. So it saves you a lot of work. Now, if you're wondering where I was, so if we go back to the home screen and we go back to save searches, which is right here on the right-hand side, what you'll see is really nice is when we come back to save searches, you'll see the name of the search, but what it'll show you each week is new results or how many new people have been added since you were in there last. I'll give you a sneak tip if you want to just set one of these up right away. I love setting that up for people that have posted in the last 30 days in your target accounts because people that are newly posting tend to not be promoting promotional garbage. They tend to be just starting to post. So that I look at it as a better sign of life of someone to go and talk to, something to go and try. And this is where you go back and you could jump right in. So what happens when you start adding people in? If you go to the home page and you go to leads, we can go to filter. So nothing is updated yet because I just did it. But once you do this and you have leads sitting in your list, which I'll be able to show you later in the week, it'll show up here. And we have something that we teach at the B2B Power Hour that's called the 30-minute daily routine. And all I do is I come into home, leads, and it's like a task list of lead updates. And that's why I look for people that are posting, because their posts will now show up here every day after they post. Now I can come in here for 30 minutes every morning when I'm running my routines, and here I go. I can just start commenting. Now that has a big bang for my buck, because when you're commenting, it's like my post today about the gym. You're making these different additions in, and you're creating more opportunities to start conversations, and that is a powerful way to get this whole place, everything started. Now I'm gonna go and kill my screen share for a second. Does anyone have any questions? Because I know that the screen share didn't show everything. So is there anybody have any questions? Do you want me to set up another saved search so that you can see how it actually worked? Or are there any specific questions about Sales Navigator? I know there's a delay, so I'll take a moment. Then I'm going to start setting up another save. Okay, I can do that, Cavill. So I'm going to go and share my screen. I'm going to make sure that whatever happened last time does not happen again. So just double check. Yeah, there you go. We're going to set up another saved search. Okay. So what we're going to do is we go lead filters. If we wanted to set up the same search, we could go and pick the same list. I always set up from my account lists. So let's try doing just for fun, we'll do a Passion Connect one. There's nobody in there, so I'll have to go and add someone. So I'll show you how much fun this is with huge accounts. So let's do AWS. We'll throw AWS, Amazon Web Services, into my master list of accounts. I'm gonna go back to my account list and Passion. Actually, no, let's go back. Yeah. Click on here. When you click on the list, this pops up. Let's put the AWS into here. Go back to our lead filters, refresh so that thing updates. Okay, so now we find that account list. As you start each week, when you update these account lists and move them into the different steps, these saved searches will update automatically. That's why I love saved searches instead of lead lists. Lead lists do not change unless you add or remove people. So one thing that's important with this is that you exclude people that are already in lists so that you don't go and do it again. So we have 110,000 individuals. An outrageous amount. We can never go through there. And even if you look here, it says 24,000 that have posted on LinkedIn in the last 90 days, or 30 days, I should say. But look at what happens when we start having fun with search words. So anywhere in these profiles, we'll have craft beer. 9. This is why I love the Passion Connect strategy, because I get to nerd out with people on stuff that's super interesting. But if you watch, it's 9. But if I just do beer, I get 77. So you want to think about, as you're doing these searches, how can you get it narrow and specific to start conversations? Don't warm up sequences aren't about selling. It's about having good conversations to earn trust and credibility. And if you don't use, like if it never comes back and nothing happens, you haven't burnt a bridge. So just to give you guys, let's go back, and if we go and get rid of the posted on LinkedIn, beer gives us 235. Craft beer. $4.29. So it just gives you an idea of how, when you use saved searches, how powerful this can be to go and start conversations. So I love using craft beer as one, and I just keep it open, and it allows me to break into really big companies. So I'll go into more of this next week. But two, passion, connect, passion, and we'll do craft beer. And then I just know what it's for. Save search, done. And as new people pop in, if I go to my saved searches, it'll be here. That's it. That's how you set up a search. That's why you want to use them. It allows you to build a lot better lists than when you don't have anything. Do we have any other questions that I can answer before we get started? Or, sorry, before I go and wrap up for the day? Pause for a moment. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you jumping in, especially with the issues. I'm not sure what happened. I know I haven't, as you guys have known, I haven't done a live show in a little while, so I know some of this is not, it looks new to me. So maybe I just had an oops. So I apologize. Thank you for staying with me. Have any questions, please connect with me, Nicholas Thicket, on LinkedIn, and feel free to answer your questions. And as you guys all know, it's 2023. It is no longer acceptable to suffer in silence. If you need help, if you're stressed out and you're not sure what to do, you're not getting support from your managers, you don't feel like you can talk to your team, and there's just, you feel lost or lonely, reach out. We get it. Just shoot us a DM, send us, go and get in the comments, ask for help, and we'll make sure that you get the help you need. You don't have to buy anything. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And for more content, make sure you go and connect and follow us on LinkedIn. Check out the B2BPowerHour.com website, and also the podcast, which is just B2B Power Hour on Spotify or Apple. Thank you, everyone. Look forward to doing this again soon. See you next Monday.